Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of the Friday Charge, brought to you by Geek Studios. As always, I am Sebastian, and he is Joel. And today, June 12th, 2026, we've got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about Ford's $30,000 EV. We're going to talk about Redwood Recycling some more. We're going to talk about Mitsubishi. That's right, they're still around. We're going to talk about Waymo, and we're going to talk about that little-known company, Donut Labs, you might remember everyone going crazy for a few months ago. So without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, our first topic of the night, Ford's $30,000 EV was spotted for the first time. So Ford's $30,000 Skunkworks EV was spotted for the first time on the road in Long Beach, California. Now, of course, the vehicle was heavily camouflaged, but there's quite a few things we can kind of gather from what we can see. First off, its size. So there was a video posted by automotive outlet The Autopian who saw the truck, and it was, pretty heavily camouflaged, driving in a convoy. It had an F-150 in front of it, and this was almost definitely by accident, a Mazda B series behind it. For those of you who don't remember, the Mazda B series, in the US at least, was a badge-engineered Ford Ranger from the early 2000s. And in this video, the UEV, I'm going to call it that, the Universal EV, looks a lot closer in size to the original Ranger than it does to the F-150. To me, just kind of from what we can tell on the under the camouflage, it just looks like a Maverick to me.
Looks like a big Maverick, yep.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too surprising. Ford had previously alluded that it would be a little larger than Maverick, but smaller than the current Ranger. So, of course, whatever, but that's the size it looks like. It looks like it's got about a 4-foot bed, a crew cab, typical situation.
Mm-hmm.
In the video from the cabin, or at least from the outside of the truck, looks pretty large, which makes sense. Ford did previously claim the vehicle would have more interior space than a RAV4. And honestly, the most surprising thing to me is that while it is heavily camouflaged, and I mean, for all we know, it could be just completely different underneath. This could all but just be a facade. It just looks like a slightly larger Maverick. It doesn't seem like Ford is doing anything super crazy with styling or design or really trying to make it its own. It, to me, at least initially, looks like a Maverick from what we can see. I'm excited, though, to see that this is finally being tested, finally seeing prototypes roll out. I put a link in the doc, Joel, if you want to pull it up, the second link, the Ford one. Someone realized this camo, which is interesting. It's just like a bunch of almost emojis all over it. But one of those circles has a QR code in it. And of course, someone managed to extract the QR code from the video and pull it up. You're going to have to change your screen that you're sharing.
Yeah, I got to pull it up first.
Okay.
Do I go to the Autopian or the Ford link? Ford link?
The Ford link. Yep.
Okay. And boom.
And you can see it's like they have a little teaser video for the truck in that link in the QR code, which, I mean, cool. And if you scroll down, it's cheeky. It's like, oh, you spotted a unicorn.
Yep.
And then there's just a couple little behind the scenes things. And I'm sure that page will probably end up being updated as time goes on. Anyway, Joel, what do you think? Do you think we're at 30 grand?
No. They can't even make a Maverick for 30 grand. So those are all listing for 35 now. So I don't think it's going to be 30 grand. Curious though, I was looking at the article. It said that they're focusing on efficiency rather than off-road capability. So interesting, since it is a truck.
We kind of talked about that before.
Yep.
This seems to be more focused on just really getting everything dialed in for to make it as cheap as possible while making as few compromises, within the budget. So we'll see.
Well, you have to think about it. What's Slate starting at?
We don't know. We haven't officially announced pricing yet.
But wasn't the goal 20 to 25 for Slate?
Yeah, that was the original goal, but that was also a few years ago and in a completely different market. We'll see in about a week and a half, I think. So,
yeah. So I'm curious if that's coming in at 20 or 25, let's just say. It seems like you'd be getting a lot more truck from Ford at 30. So that's where the math doesn't math. But yeah, I mean, kudos. I mean, we know Ford, they're not big on design. You know, they don't have like really cool design cars. I mean, the Lightning hasn't really changed much in the last several years. The Expedition hasn't really changed much. I do not like the look of the new Expedition. I hate what the back of that looks like. Um, so I mean, yeah, I can see them not doing anything crazy, kind of like Kia or Hyundai would do with design, but just kind of keep it just solid, a solid EV that's really efficient, which that's what people like. They want solid EVs that are efficient. So it makes sense.
Yeah. Moving on, GM and Redwood have announced yet another partnership. GM has become the first U.S. automaker to announce a full cycle partnership with Redwood. GM will now be utilizing Redwood solutions for battery scraping or scrapping. Sorry, can't read. Battery
No
scrapping,
scraping.
end of life recycling, and now for second life energy storage with a new project for a GM manufacturing facility located in Michigan. This energy storage system is a 1.5 megawatt and 7.2 megawatt hour capacity system built from roughly 100 repurposed GM battery packs. Redwood is currently estimated that this system, after installed, will save GM roughly $3 million in energy costs over its lifetime. We talked a little bit
Ooh,
about Waymo last week entering a similar agreement with the same company last week. And I mainly just brought this story up, though, because it actually kind of talked about scale a little bit in here. So you'll notice we said they were getting 7.2 megawatt hours of energy from 100 vehicle battery packs. And so if you kind of do some quick back of the napkin math, which of course this isn't perfect, this is a rough estimate, the GM has kind of laid out 10,000 battery packs will be in the pipeline with Redwood. That's 720 megawatt hours of battery capacity. And this
a
is,
lot.
that's awesome. That's a lot of juice. That's a lot of power. I want to say I did the math, and that's like equivalent to 1,058 barrels of oil. And that's just in total capacity. It's not even taking into account that this is renewable, reusable. Like it's not, you don't burn it up. You don't burn it once and then there's no more energy left. Um,
Hmm.
but anyway, but I mainly just kind of brought it up because like seeing those numbers and you think about how many EVs are currently on the road, like how many EVs has Tesla sold since they've started, whatever. How many megawatt hours of energy like storage capacity do you think we might have in the US moving forward, right? It's really crazy to think about. And this is, again, talking about one of the big things we always hear about from people that are EV skeptics or not, maybe just not informed is, well, what happens when the cars die? What happens when the battery's no good no
Hmm.
more? What do you do then? It's like, well,
Yep.
you use it to strengthen the grid and to strengthen it in a pretty major way. Um, and so, yeah, I just was appreciative to see an actual, like, kind of scale figure given here.
Yeah. So another thing about that math talking about. So just did a little quick check. Tesla sold 8.5 to 9 million cars globally total.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of energy,
That's a lot of
a
potential
lot of
battery
battery
packs
packs.
for
So
power walls or
that is a
whatever
lot
else.
of potential battery packs. And that's what I think that's what the next step is because power walls are still relatively expensive. I think I was quoted like I think $12,000 to get a power wall installed, $15,000 to get a power wall installed with my solar. Now at the time just wasn't economically, feasible for us. But if we can get that cost down, that's a game changer. If you can get a battery
Yeah.
install, around $6,000-7,000, I mean, that it becomes a lot more appealing to a
Right.
lot more people, you know.
Right.
But I mean, would you do it for $5,000-6,000?
Probably, yeah, if I had solar.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I guess even if I
So I
didn't,
mean, yeah,
of
10.
course, where I am, I don't have like we don't do time of use program or anything. That's a new option Entergy's
Yep.
rolling out, but it doesn't really make sense to me the way they're doing it. But if we were somewhere with a time of use program, I mean, it would be even worthwhile without solar to be able to buffer, through high energy times. You draw more from the power and the battery than the grid. Then overnight, when electricity's cheap, you run everything on the house off the grid and recharge the battery, and cycle it through like that. Um, but we don't have a time of use program. So
Yep.
moving on, Mitsubishi's second EV is here. The quotes are on purpose. Mitsubishi this week pulled the wraps off the company's second EV for the North American market, the Eclipse Sportback EV. The Eclipse Sportback EV might look a bit familiar to you. That's because Mitsu isn't actually building the thing. It's just a rebadged Nissan Leaf. They didn't try to hide it at all. You can see on the exterior there are a few changes, The car has the Mitsu triple diamond on the front and not a Nissan badge. It also has a weird applique between the DRLs where the light bar is on the Leaf. Don't love that. Don't love the way that looks. It's got a weird chin kind of design or snout design to it. I don't know. It's like a mustache almost, but it's in the wrong part of the face.
Oh.
On the rear, you have a slightly different taillight design, and it spells out Mitsubishi across the trunk lid. And the car features some tacky little EV badges on various places on the exterior. So you can see it there on the bottom right. It, to me, just looks like the kind of thing you would go, like if you went to AutoZone and you bought an E and a V and you stuck them next to each other. And there's one there. There's one on the doors on the side of the car. Like they put it in weird places all over the thing.
There it is.
Yeah, you can see there. It's just like, it really looks like an AutoZone special to me. Mitsu has not announced official specs or pricing, but I mean, considering this thing looks almost identical to a Leaf, I would expect it to have the exact same specs as a Leaf. So I would really hope the pricing is very close and similar to a Leaf, because if it's more expensive, it makes no sense. And if it's cheaper, then it also kind of makes no sense. And we'll see more about this vehicle later this year, but honestly, I don't. Mitsubishi is such a weird company to me. I don't know how they're still around in the U.S. market. I really don't.
We don't even have a dealership. We don't have a dealership here, do we?
No.
Yeah.
Used to. Don't anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, anyway. I'm assuming you don't have much to say on this because, like, it's a Mitsubishi, whatever.
Well, I did realize from looking at this article that the Outlander and Rogue share some DNA.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so the Mitsubishi is in that alliance that Nissan has. It's Nissan, Renault, and Mitsubishi. And so you'll get random badge engineered things like the new Rogue and now this car out of it. But yeah, maybe that's the only reason Mitsubishi still exists in the North American market is because Nissan's building half their cars for them. I don't know.
True. I mean, I cannot tell you the last time I've seen a Mitsubishi on the road. I don't see them. I couldn't even name you 5 of their models off the top of my head. Even if they have 5 models, they're just pretty irrelevant here in North America. So
I'll tell you what.
I think it would have been smarter for Nissan to partner with someone else than Mitsubishi. They could have got a little more bang for their buck.
I'll tell you what. About 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I don't know. Time's not real. I had our Santa Fe had gotten in a small accident, and I ended up a comparable rental car according to Enterprise because I didn't have like the basic rental plan. I had a higher tier rental plan because I knew it was in an SUV. I needed more, if I wanted a comparable vehicle, it would be the comparable vehicle that Enterprise gave me was a Mitsubishi Mirage.
Oh God.
The 1.2 liter 3-cylinder tiny compact hatchback, 78 horsepower.
0 to 60 in about 15 seconds.
I'll tell you what though, thing got amazing gas mileage. Was quite possibly the cheapest car I've ever driven. I mean, like as far as like interior materials and quality and everything, because I mean, that car used to start at like 13, 14 grand, I think. But it was honestly kind of a hoot to be. It didn't even have keyless entry, which is crazy for a modern, like, because this is in 2021. What was Enterprise doing with this thing? And they couldn't have even optioned
that's like my son's
a remote.
Well, that's like my son's 2023. His Mazda 3 used to be a rental fleet. It doesn't have, like, I had to buy the navigation SD card to put in it. It was weird.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have XM radio. I'm like, how do you build a car in 23 without satellite radio? I don't get it. So there's actually nothing on the screen for it. It's just is
right.
Weird. So and also what I don't like about that car either, and we're talking about gas cars, is you have to do everything with the bop it. You can't touch the screen to move anything. So it's very annoying. Like if you want to change, displays or change, from USB to your phone or Apple CarPlay, you got to do it all through the bop it. You can't just,
Right.
it's annoying.
Yeah. Okay, we'll stop talking about Mitsubishi now. We're probably already lost half the audience
We'll
because
stop talking
of
about
it.
gas stuff.
Let's talk about Waymo
Yes.
instead. And I'll share my screen for this one in a second. Because I want to I've got some visuals to go along with this. It has been found through real estate filings that Waymo, the quite famous driverless taxi company, has bought the proving grounds formerly owned by Apple, now that Apple has seemingly given up on their dreams of the Apple car. Waymo bought the 5,500-acre proving grounds located in Whitman, Arizona for $220 million. Just as an aside, Apple bought the same proving grounds from an investment firm back in 2021 for $125 million. So they made almost another $100 million when they sold it to Waymo. Also, I just thought it was an interesting aside. Before the investment firm, before Apple bought it from the investment firm in 2021, the investment firm bought the land from Chrysler in 2005 for a cool $312 million. Apparently, they were going to build a subdivision on it, like a giant mega subdivision on it, and then just never did.
Lost some money on that deal.
Anyway, this proving ground should be a pretty sweet setup for Waymo, as it's already set up pretty well. I'll go ahead and share my screen now, Joel, if you don't mind.
You got the con.
Share. Google Maps. Share. Cool. So you should be able to see this. So this is the site. Here is Whitman, Arizona, right here. Here is the greater Phoenix area, or over here. So you can see this is a pretty massive lot of land. I know it's probably a little hard to see, but bear with me. And you can see it's got this nice perimeter all the way around. It's got a giant oval. It's got this area set up, which if you zoom in, you can see is actually set up to be like a city street with lights and everything to help them train, their driverless vehicles. You can come over here on this edge of a property, and you can see this is set up to look like a freeway with on-ramps, off-ramps,
that is cool.
A toll plaza, like the whole sit, and you can see it, you get to the end of it, and it just loops around, takes you back the other way, loops around. You've got a little flat area here that's straight with a poorly conditioned road before it then transitions into a unmarked, better conditioned road. Like, this is a pretty decent setup for a driverless car setup, which makes sense because that's kind of what Apple was going for before they gave up. Of course, because it's a proving grounds, you've got just the big go fast oval. You've got an area set up over here for like vehicle dynamics testing for like, how does it perform on wet pavement, dry pavement? How does it perform in high speed corners? Things like that. But yeah, I really only brought this up because this is a good chance for me to talk about. This is just a dream of mine. And I think I've told Joel this before. If I ever won one of those giant mega lottery prizes, $1 billion or something, I too would love to buy a giant plot of land and just like build a racetrack on it and just other vehicle related like areas on it. Give me an oval or a drag strip and just all these things just because I want somewhere that I can go drive a car fast legally. Because like I'm not brave enough to do this.
You want to take the bolt on it.
I don't want to be stupid on the street. Like it's not, if I'm gonna hurt anybody, I don't want to hurt anybody else. You know what I mean? Like, give me a nice, safe place to do things. And we don't have a track or anything here in Arkansas, or at least not that's usable. We have a bunch of teeny tiny dirt oval type situations because yeehaw.
Yeah, I passed a dirt track. I passed a dirt track in Menifee yesterday. Maybe that's for sale. So.
Anyway, but yeah, this is just like if I ever won just a giant stupid amount of money doing something, I would do that. I would build a proving grounds.
I would be right there with you, except I wouldn't buy it. I would just go out there and use it.
You would just use mine. Thanks.
That's why you have to become a paid member so Sebastian can get his track.
See,
help him support his dreams, everyone.
We'd only need like 100 million members. That's easy, right?
Well, yeah. Or just maybe We'll start with
Oh,
$1 million. We'll start there and work our way up. So
a million. We currently have 5. Thank you very much.
good 5. Yes, we have 5. We're working our way up. So
All right, moving on. Our last official topic of the night.
what's next?
Hey, Joel, do you remember Donut Labs?
Yeah, didn't they make that big breakthrough on solid state batteries?
Yeah, allegedly. So they made waves back at CES when they showed off their new solid state battery and made some pretty lofty claims that, if true, were pretty amazing and like groundbreaking, especially at the time. And they've been doing this thing over the last few months where they've been like very slow rolling, basically kind of validations of their claims. Talking about chemistry and battery capacities and charging and things like that. Um, but there's a third party out there that got tired of waiting and they got their hands on a cell and they did their own testing and released it. And yeah, it's all a sham. It's all fake. None of it's real. So in this third party testing, it was found that the battery was operating, or the cells were operating at 3.7 to 3.8 volts at 50% charge, which if you're familiar at all with battery chemistries, those numbers probably sound familiar because that's what's found in a typical
That's normal.
NCM battery cell.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3.7 to 3.8 is normal.
Yep.
Sodium ion cells typically sit at 3.5 volts at the same SOC. Perhaps more importantly, though, and probably more definitive, is the research took a look at how the cells expand. So I've got to get a little science in here for you. Just bear with me, okay? I just kind of have to explain this. When you charge an NCM battery, the ions squeeze into a graphite anode, which causes that graphite anode to expand. And because of the way an NCM battery charges, or the graphite kind of at a certain percent kinks. And it's very definitive. It happens in every battery pack. It's somewhere between 50 and 70%. There's like, if the way it expands causes that graphite layer to kink. You know you're dealing with an NCM battery when you see that kink. And it's only on batteries containing graphite. Why does that matter in this context? Sodium ions are too large to fit in the graphite anode. They just can't squeeze in. There's no possibility, like they can't do it. When these researchers were doing testing as they charged a battery, they saw the graphite anode kink in the way that only a graphite anode would, meaning that the battery is using a graphite anode and meaning that there's no way that it's using sodium ions. It's just a lithium ion battery. And the final piece of evidence, Donut claimed that they would be able to get 400 watt hours per kilogram of energy density out of the cells, which would have been breakthrough, like groundbreaking, amazing stuff. That's like the highest energy density I think we'd seen announced, whatever. Yeah, in this lab's testing, they saw around 300 watt hours per kilogram. So a little short of 400. But you know what else has an average energy density of 300 watt hours per kilogram? A good lithium ion battery
an
cell.
MC battery. Yep. Or a lithium ion.
Just a good battery cell from a lithium ion. Yeah. Yep. So big shocker, the giant lofty company that got a huge amount of investment money and made all these giant claims and whatever. Yeah, it was all fake. Congrats.
So they just did it I'm assuming they just did it for the investment money.
I guess. And
isn't
now
that
what
lying?
Is the question?
Like lying to share?
Yeah,
is a public like or privately traded company?
Good question. They're also not from the U.S., so the laws are different, and
that's true. Yep.
But yeah, very weird, very not surprising. I mean, don't get me wrong. I am all for battery development. Like, I want someone to get this and do it right. But I think we just kind of discussed when this first came around. It was like, if they pull this off, it would be amazing. But I have a hard time believing that a teeny tiny company no one's ever heard of is going to figure it out before the likes of like Toyota. Because Toyota's been talking about research on sodium ion batteries and solid state batteries for like ever, and has allegedly not figured it out yet. And so it just seemed very unlikely that some random ragtag team of engineers or something was going to figure it out before them. But at the same time, crazier things have happened, Some would describe Tesla when they started out as a ragtag team of engineers, and they figured out the electric car thing pretty quick and early on. So,
yeah, that was the big story earlier this year. I forget what was it at an auto show or a conference. I think when Neuralab made that announcement, I think it was.
I think it was at CES, wasn't it?
CES, that's right. CES when they made that announcement, it was like mind-boggling. I mean, our buddy Chris Bowe did a whole video on it. I mean, and we were like, oh wow, this is actually for real. But now we know, maybe not. We just wanted some more investment money, but we're so close. So close.
We're so close. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Well, they were even making claims like they were already shipping production cells and things. Like I want to say there was a motorcycle that was launched that was using the cells that already had the solid state cells and all that. And it's like, oh no,
you're right. It was some sort of e-bike
battery.
Yep.
So, did the manufacturer of the bike know? And were they just going on with the marketing and then also lying to their customers? Or was Donut lying to the manufacturer of the bike and the bike was selling this product, not realizing that it wasn't actually representative? How many layers does this onion go?
This is going to turn out to be a documentary on Netflix sometime. So, yeah.
At some point, it'll go right next to the Nicholas story and Trevor Minton, whatever his last name was.
Yeah.
About, rolling the trucks down a hill to make them look like they were driving under their own power.
And Fisker. Fisker will be up there too.
Oh, God. Which time?
I know, the second or third. Yep.
All right, Joel, let's move on. Let's stop talking about scammy companies. We can put Mullen in there too.
Yes. Mullen.
That weird
Watch
van.
our video on that. Watch our video on the Mullen van. Watch it. Go watch it right now. Check it out.
It was a hoot and a half. Hoot and a half.
Yes.
All right, Joel, tell me about this week. What's going on? What went on?
So Monday, I ain't gonna lie, Sebastian kind of held down the fort this week for me. My son's gonna be a senior, so we had some college visits. We had a concert to go to, so I told Sebastian last minute, hey, I'm gonna need you to record Wednesday's episode. So he graciously stepped in. So thank you for doing that. So Monday, Sebastian did a whole little geeky techie video on charge curve. So 10 to 80% on the EV9. And it performed, I would say personally performed better than what I 10 to 100% on the EV9. Sorry, I would say it performed better than what I was expecting, because I had in mind that I knew it was going to be slower than EV6, but watch that video and check out the curve. It was a pretty solid charging curve that we had and test that we have. So what was the total time? I forget. Don't remember.
Let's see.
It was like 50 something. I think it was 50 some minutes. 10
by the way.
Yes. I think it's and you can share that and you can share it with him if you want. It's not a very long video. It's only 10 or 15 minutes. So if you want to hear Sebastian nerd out on some numbers, that's great. But it was like 52, 53 minutes, 54 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so 10 to 80 in our test was 25 minutes and 24 seconds, and 10 to 100 was 52 minutes and 29 seconds to put in 90 kilowatt hours of energy.
And what does Kia advertise for 10 to 80?
So Kia advertised 10 to 80. They advertised 24 minutes, so it was actually a little slower. But I talk about in the video why that happened and how your mileage may vary some, because the reason it was slower was you got the Korean Siesta a little early, whereas sometimes it happens at 81 or 82%, and therefore you would get to 80 quicker. But I talk about that some in the video, because there's also, if you are aware of the Kia, I keep saying almost Kia Siesta, the Korean Siesta, if you're aware, used to, it was like a 4 kilowatt dip until it eventually would have been crawled back up. Now it seems to be a much higher kilowatt dip, so it doesn't maybe last as long, or it's not as excruciating to go through. It's weird. We talk about it in the video though, so just go watch it. It's a short video. You'll like it, I promise.
Yep. Yeah, short. And another short video this week we launched was Sebastian on Wednesday for the mini charge episode talked about the R2. Now, why are we talking about the R2 this week? Because now we're officially getting deliveries. Yes. So, because we're starting to see deliveries now. We're starting to see people get notifications. So I did get an email saying that, because I'm on the list, I don't want this model. I want the one coming out next year, that to prepare shortly to be able to go into configurator in the future and configure my vehicle. So that email.
I thought you were about to say you got an invite to order one. My bad.
Oh, I wish. But yeah, it said, that they said, basically the email just said, R2 is here. We're delivering it. It will be available for you to look at soon in the configurator. But I already think I I already think Rivian sent me an email asking me. I'll have to check my email. Did I want this model or another model? I think I said no for this model. So hopefully that bumped me off that list. But I may go in there and play with the configurator and just see what happens. Or maybe if I get whenever I get the email or something like that, we could show it on a mini charge or a Friday or a Friday charge episode. Kind of just play with the configurator, see what you can do. But yeah, they're already doing demo drives, so you can.
I'm just gonna share my screen real quick. Because, yeah, we
Okay.
do have an actual configurator with some pricing info. And this is kind of a big topic in the story is you have some actual lease pricing in here now, which has been interesting to see people's reaction to. Because you can see right here, it's showing with $3,500 down, 10,000 miles a year, 36 months, it's showing $829 a month for the performance with no options, with $5,000 due at signing. And there's been a lot of people that have been kind of upset at how high these numbers are. And I talk about some of the episode in the video, but I feel like a lot of people are upset because we know a lot of R1 owners in this first batch of reservations. I feel like a lot of these people that are upset about these lease pricings are forgetting that when they bought their R1, they probably got the tax credit and all these other things that made their lease pricing super cheap. And none of that's here now, and it's a $60,000 car. Like,
I will let you know that this is about the exact same pricing for our Kia EV9.
mm-hmm.
So, and we said we got 12,000 miles, and we didn't have that big a down payment. So, and we didn't have that much due at signing. So,
right.
I think we only I think
but
we
yeah,
only
it's just people have been really upset about. Yeah, and if you add taxes, it goes up a little bit. There you go, $928 to add taxes. Yep. But yeah, there's just been a lot of people upset about the lease pricing, and it's like, well, ultimately, I mean, it's a $60,000 car. Like, there's going to be some hit. Mm-hmm. There's no incentives right now because it just launched. There's no federal tax incentives or anything like that. So, like, it's kind of what it is. The loan pricing on it, it's not much better. Honestly, the loan pricing is the same as the lease. It looks like, which is interesting.
There's no special dealer incentives or anything like that. So, I mean,
right. I do appreciate too the configurator gives you some like the timelines for things like coming late 2026, coming spring 2027. If you come down here to the paint colors, it tells you like you won't be able to get purple until September. These are the colors it looks like that are available now up until launch green, and then these two are later availability. They have things in here telling you like you won't be able to get the light color interior until August. And then you can come in if you have a reservation and then all that.
Yep. I did like the video of Jordan trying to convince Jordan from Motor Week, trying to convince RJ to bring back the yellow. It was interesting. So I missed the yellow. That's what I would get.
Compass
yellow.
And
that was probably what you would do it. That was what you would get too. So yeah.
Unfortunately, it was apparently like the least popular color. So
I can see that. But yeah, that's our content for this week. So if you haven't checked out any of the videos, go check them out. I will let you know this now that my work is done for right now and I got a couple weeks off. My goal is on the audio podcast to release some more shorter audio videos. Hopefully 2 or 3 days a week now that my schedule is lightened up. So if you're not a member, if you're not following us on Spotify, Apple, or Sebastian Say, wherever you get your audio podcast from, go there and check that out. Starting next week, we'll have some more content. I'll be going on vacation next week, but I'm planning on taking the laptop because you don't need that much tech to record a audio podcast. Just basically a Mac with a good built-in mic and some good editing software like we use here at Riverside. You pretty much get one. So, and Sebastian's got the cover for me again, probably in the next week or two as well. So, hey, Sebastian. So, picking up my slack.
Monday we should have our video on the Vistic. We got our hands on a higher trim level version, and it's a bit more baked now too. So it was nice to see kind of that difference. And then who knows what comes out Wednesday? Car. We'll see. Yep. Gorgeous blue interior. Very cool.
Oh,
very nice.
It's pretty. Wish they would just let us take it home.
Call Mark. Ask him. See what he says.
Call Mark. Yep.
And then we'll have something Wednesday, and then we'll be here again. Same bat time, same bat channel for the Friday charge next week. That is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday charge. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your audio enjoyment, enjoyment. Wow, words are hard.
That's a new
Golly.
word.
Make sure you follow us on there, leave us a rating, comment, like, thumbs up, heart, whatever your platform uses. They're all a little different. And honestly, I can't keep them straight. Whatever you do, it helps us grow. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of The Friday Charge.